I met a guy once who told me about a place that contained the 7 gates that lead to hell. I thought that it was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard.
If you came of age anywhere between the mid-2000s and the early 2010s, then you likely had friends like this.
James, gay chicken! Watch out! Gay chicken! Oh!
Who looked like this and made music like this.
There are 7 gates that lead to hell. When you pass through the first gate, the feeling washes over you that you're completely unwanted. Those things around you that are pulling at you want to rip you to shreds, but you can't see them. You can only feel them tugging away. It's hopeless.
You probably went to parties like this and drank cheap beer in dingy basements like this one, where maybe you waited for your friends to pass out so you could pull their pants down and light their pubes on fire. Or maybe it was you passing out and your friends needed to take care of you.
Ow, my nose! Please put your pants up.
For many millennials growing up in small-town America, this was their life.
Is it music that aligns you with these people? Is that a common bond? So I'm wondering if music is a key, an alliance here that builds up.
It's a symptom rather than the cause, and it's a downward slope too. It's a gradual progression. You start out going to shows and meeting these people, and then it grows from there. And their circle of friends becomes your circle of friends, and deeper down the rabbit hole we go.
The film Toad Road takes an unflinchingly realistic look at this kind of forgotten American youth by presenting the viewer with a real group of friends from Baltimore, Maryland, who spend their days and nights partying with a reckless, nihilistic abandon.
Honestly, we weren't looking for anything to help or to acquire, and we came across this film and it was so staggering and so disturbing and moving that we felt compelled to get involved. And we just felt like it really spoke to one of the core beliefs of our company, which is to sort of push the bounds of what one considers a horror film.
Elijah Wood would go on to say that at least 70% of the film is a genuine documentary, which makes what comes later that much more disturbing.
You're introduced to LSD, and unless you've taken some other drug, like for instance like marijuana or something, it's an altogether new thing, and you actually can have a religious experience, and it can be even more important than reading the Bible 6 times or becoming a pope or something like that,
Early into the film, a focus arises on 2 of its subjects, experienced drug user and interminable slacker James, and the pretty, relatively innocent and inexperienced college student, Sarah. In the beginning, James is seen drinking, smoking weed, playing music, committing reckless pranks on passed out friends, and passing out himself, which seems to amount to nothing more than an average night for him and his friends. Sara, meanwhile, being the straight-laced and relative newcomer to the group, can initially be seen politely refusing an offer of LSD.
Sure, you don't want any? Alright.
James begins to court Sara, and Sara seems smitten with James. And as the day bleeds into nightfall, and their courtship becomes intimate, Sara can be seen drinking and smoking weed.
When you pass to the second gate of hell, you start to hear things. The wind isn't the wind, the leaves aren't the leaves, and the ground start to spit out little voices. It's the voices of your mother or your father telling you how you've disappointed them. As much as it should hurt to hear that, you already knew it. So there's no reason to run.
At this point, it's important to note that all of the drugs you see in the film are real, as is the drug use of its characters. The following day, as the others go off to do mushrooms, James and Sara can be seen walking in a different direction, with Sara remarking,
So are they all eating mushrooms?
Yeah.
I guess it's really nice out. That's a good day for it, right?
Yeah, they're gonna have a blast.
I kind of want to do them.
You wanna?
I want to do them.
That night, James tries to dissuade Sara's curiosity by telling her about the dark side of drug use.
The worst experience I ever had was, see, look, I'm dropping shit left and right. That night that we all ate acid, and the acid was great. We went to that show at Barclay House, like, went off without a hitch. Then we got back, and me and Scott, like, everybody were up in his room and ripping those 3-foot bongs. Like, everything I saw around me was just, like, manufactured by some, like, greater, like, evil, malicious, like, thing, like, as a trap for me. Like, I thought that I was stuck in this, like somehow in a past life I'd done some wrong or something. So my entire life, up until that point, was, like, all just, like, my parents weren't real, my friends
See, that's the
weren't
thing.
real,
I don't
like,
have the experiences that you guys do. I've never done drugs like that. I mean, I'd like to.
You become accustomed to the fucking culture itself, and you surround yourself with drunk people, and then, like, by the time you realize, like, where you are, like, waking up in places that you've never been before, like, it's like, it's beyond the point of no return, you know? Like, you cannot, where do you go? It's all you know. It's like fucking, like a walk down Toad Road, for Christ's sakes, you know? Like, you're there, you're fucked already, like.
What's Toad Road?
All right, everyone. Here's your answer to the 7 gates of hell, right here. There's the first gate.
Though Sara and James and their friends are, in reality, from Baltimore, the film is set in York County, Pennsylvania. Established in 1741, the city of York, Pennsylvania initially served as a temporary base for the Continental Congress, during which time the Articles of Confederation were drafted. This involvement in the American Revolution gave way to York's large historical district and unique colonial-style architecture. But like most American cities, deindustrialization led to urban decay, and the city of York post-World War II became recessed. Out of York City grew York County in 1749. And like so many other counties just outside of Pennsylvania's city limits, York County is home to sprawling forests, rolling hills, and miles of farmland. Tucked away in the forests of York are rivers, waterfalls, and even caverns. And all of this sets the backdrop for a little town in York County called 𝘈𝘥𝘳𝘪, which is home to a local legend known as Toad Road and the 7 Gates of Hell.
Oh yeah, you're a city girl. You don't know about Toad Road. All right. Well, Toad Road is it's like the local high school urban legend. It's this this road that used to be behind, I guess, a mental ward or a mental institution or something. You walk down this road and like you go through this first gate, and it's just this tiny little red gate like right at the front of this big woods like wilderness. It's just a little tiny trail. And then as you go, you see like your second gate and your third gate, and you keep going through, and like things keep getting more and more fucked up. Like you start like, it's like a bad trip, which I know doesn't mean anything to you but maybe it will, you know, if you have your way. But you go through your first gate and your second gate, and like you start hearing things and seeing things, and like people are following you, things that just aren't there, and like time changes.
Well, have you ever been there?
No, of course not.
Why wouldn't you get?
Because it's like the man in the mirror, the fucking Bloody Mary
Well,
and shit.
then
It's a
what's
legend.
it'd still be fun to go. Will you go with me?
No, it's the opposite of fun. It's getting drunk and going down a trail at night in the middle of the woods with a bunch of people who don't know where they're going.
What
and
if
get
you're
lost.
tripping?
Then it would be even fucking worse. Then you would never even make it home. If you really want to, this weekend, me and like, you know, the gang are going to that cave and raiding mushrooms in there. And that'll be scary and spooky. It'll be better than Toad Road though.
And I can eat some mushrooms.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you permission. You do what you want to do.
I don't need your permission, but if I'm gonna be with you.
Whoa, wow. Man, look at you.
See, I've already made up my mind about this.
That weekend, Sarah and James go with their friends to a nearby cave, where Sarah plans on taking mushrooms for the first time.
I'll let you guys see the piles afterwards so you can help even it out a little bit more.
Sarah tries to find her way back to the car on her own, but ends up getting lost even deeper in the cave. And as the shrooms metabolize, and she starts to feel their effects, Sarah begins to hallucinate. And as she begins to panic
James?
and cry out,
James?
Sarah's fractured state of mind sees herself in a new place. James, though tripping himself, knew the potential for this and goes to find Sarah.
Sarah, you all right? We're going right now, all right? I'm gonna get you out of here.
When you pass through the third gate of hell, you start to see things. The voices start to become become faces, start to become shadows that move around you. You close your eyes and they're still there. And in the moment of all this confusion, for just a second, you might see someone you know, nodding, telling you to turn back.
In the days that follow, Sara becomes restless and begins to fixate on her experience in the cave. Seeking answers, she finds philosophical contemplations on the nature of hallucinogens, which seem to speak to her ordeal.
You actually can have a religious experience, and it can be even more important than reading the Bible 6 times.
One thing that happens when you explore psychedelics is that you have a sense that there are a lot of other options and other possibilities, other forms of consciousness, dimensions of reality, and that what we're living in is like, you know,
I think the function of awareness can go into the past, the future, or the hidden present equally. Why? Because when you go into an altered state, you go beyond the framework of space and time. That's what
those locations to which one makes a pilgrimage, they are spaces containing the meeting of worlds, and standing on those intersections, one may be in both worlds at the same time.
This sets Sara down a path of self-discovery or self-destruction, depending on your perspective.
So sometimes your lover or girlfriend does things that you don't agree with, but you still try to at least be there to, you know, watch over them or make sure that they don't do something stupid or get too far into it.
You have e-pills?
Who has Adderall? This is the first time in my life that I have been able to do whatever it is that I want to do and not feel guilty about it and not feel like that someone is judging me. You can either come with me or you can stay behind.
Hey, who wants to try to knock out James?
Okay.
Hey! Oh my God!
Everyone thinks the 7th gate is hell, but I don't think it is. I think it might be something better, something real.
Where the hell is she? Is she okay?